Hi, it's Travis White with a persuasive communication tip of the week. Has this ever happened to you? You're sitting in a meeting and somebody says something, you're not sure quite how to respond, and so the point hangs in the air and the point is made and you have no response to it. Then hours later, you're doing something else and you think, oh, I should have said, and you have the perfect comeback, the perfect reply, but because you didn't make it in the meeting, it loses its power, and the point that was made is still the point that's in people's mind. So in this persuasive communication tip of the week, I'd like to give you two techniques for coming up with the perfect comeback, the perfect reply in real time when it's needed during the meeting or during the debate. For instance, the two techniques are called take the metaphor seriously, take the metaphor literally, or reverse the words. So let's say somebody uses a metaphor and you want to counteract that metaphor and change the audience's opinion. So let's say, for instance, one of your competitors says, well, be careful, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. What might you say? Take it literally. And you'd say, you know, you're right, let's just pull the plug on the whole thing. That changes the audience's attention, it changes the assumption that's in the air in the meeting. Let's say they say, your competitor or another person in the meeting says, well, let's not put the cart before the horse. What might you say? You know, you're right. Carts and horses are way too slow. We need to build something much faster. All right? Again, you're changing the metaphor, you're changing the context, you're changing the assumption in the audience's mind. Another one might be something you often hear in political conversations. You shouldn't change horses in midstream. Might also apply to systems or ERP software. You shouldn't change horses in midstream. What might your reply be? Take the metaphor literally and say, you know what? Riding horses across a stream is really a bad idea. Who put us on these horses in the middle of a river? That's the worst possible way to cross a river. We need to build some bridges. Let's change out of this altogether, because we need to build bridges rather than riding horses across streams. So take the metaphor literally. That's one way to create a good comeback. The other technique is to reverse the words. So let's say somebody says, well, you know, every cloud has a silver lining. One way to reverse the words is simply say, you know, every silver lining has a cloud, right? And you can, again, change the tone and change the assumption on the audience's mind. Let's say a competitor finishes his or her presentation saying, and so if you choose us, the future will be bright. You know, why don't you just reverse the words as you start your presentation and say, you know, you have to be bright to get to the future, and we think we can help you do that better than our competitor can. So two techniques often will generate a good comeback in real time when it's needed, not hours later, and that is take the metaphor literally or reverse the words. That's the persuasive communication tip of the week. See you again next week.